Okay, so I am now going to take a break. Well, no, I'm not going to take a break. I'm going to take questions. So let's see. Who's got questions? Okay. Andrea. Good afternoon, Andrea. I just unmuted your microphone.
Hi, Rick. You answered it.
Okay.
You answered it already. My question was about when you first chose the text box
Yeah.
that you took out the p tags. I wondered if leaving the p tags in would change the alignment or the space vertical spacing of the image.
It could, yes, because this is in Thesis Classic, although it's hard to
Right.
recognize that. He's done a good job of it. But
Right.
Thesis Classic does have that automatic, bottom margin for paragraph tags.
Because I
So,
noticed the spacing was a little bit different on the initial page. The images when you put them in without the p tag are just slightly higher than the text.
oh, than it used to be.
Yes.
This could be a reason why you would use the p tag then if you needed spacing. Although what I would do instead of that is I would just add bottom margin to the element instead of using a p tag,
Right.
because it's not really a paragraph, right? It's really
Right.
just an image or an image link. Um, but otherwise,
Okay. Well, I asked the question because, as you know, for many of us, the HTML part is the weak link right now. So,
well, you probably want to restrict the number of HTML elements that you use to the minimum necessary. So if you've got a div container and you're putting an image inside of it, really it only needs the image tag inside of it without the
right.
p.
Okay.
Now the reason why that p kept showing up is because the Black Studio Tiny MCE widget that he was using to create it automatically adds p tags to what it perceives to be paragraphs.
Right.
And that's actually a default WordPress behavior, right? WordPress automatically adds p tags anything it perceives to be a paragraph.
Right.
And so that's why Chris asked that same question, in the text box, right? Do you want to wrap this in p
Hmm.
tags? Because it could be that you want to emulate normal WordPress behavior. And if you want
Right.
to emulate normal WordPress behavior, you would check the box.
Okay.
But we
Thank.
we don't want any of that stuff. We just want regular, straight, clean HTML.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Have it.
Like I said, that's the hard part. You could throw in all the CSS and all the other stuff, and you could even have me doing some code in the functions file. I wouldn't mind, but the HTML is
Well,
like a
we'll
foreign
we're
language right
we're
now.
gonna do a course on HTML here in the not very distant future. Once
Good.
we kind of get past all this base level stuff that has to be done with Thesis 2, we'll do an HTML course. That is the kind of class that won't change over time, right? Because
Right.
HTML, the basics of HTML have remained the same since the 90s. So
Right. I will ask one other question.
go
Any,
ahead.
any word on Thesis 2.1?
Yeah, Thesis 2.1 is out in beta now. I don't know that it's out to the larger community in beta, but I'm working my way through understanding it.
Has it
And
changed a lot?
yes, it has. It's quite a bit
Okay.
different. I, I mean, it's going to be a lot easier for a couple of different classes of people. It's going to be a lot easier for beginners, and it's going to be a lot easier for developers. But it's probably a little more complicated for people in the middle at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about that more at the end of this, and then we're going to have a thing. Um, I don't know. I'll advertise a thing this week where we do a tour of it. So,
Oh, great. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You betcha. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Hey, I have a question on widgets.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the the first part is kind of a minor annoyance. I had put widgets into a footer, and I had 4 columns. And for some reason, when I go to the widget page, it starts off with widget one, and then it goes to widget three, and then it goes to widget two, and then it goes to widget one. I mean, four, excuse me. And I, I even went back and deleted it and tried over again, but for some reason it kept on coming up in an odd order. I just never quite understood why, and I couldn't figure out how to fix it. Have you come across that?
Well, you're talking about the order in which these things are created, the order in which
Yeah,
these are, or the reason why these are laid out the way they're laid out, essentially.
right.
And the answer is that they are laid out like this in order to. This isn't really their name, right? They're laid out by ID, and an
All right.
ID is created partially based on the second that the thing was created.
Yeah, I
So
got that.
they're
Yeah.
always sequentially, sitting there. So if you want widget one you to be before widget four, you have to create it first, widget two second, widget three third, widget
Right.
four fourth.
And continuing on widgets, if you want to assign, I'm just for best practice, if you have a template and you're going to have different widgets on the sidebar for that template, are you better off getting one of the, I noticed that there's a plugin that will help you do it, or are you better off uh, redesigning the sidebar for that template and assigning using,
That's a value judgment. Display widgets works just fine, or dynamic widgets. Either of those two plugins work really well um, when you have when you want to vary content by sidebar. So the trick is that you need to try and find what seems like a balance, right? I mean, really, I think that in this case, he's got way too many sidebars. Right, Brian's got way too many sidebars on this site because the sidebar is only doing one thing. It's only displaying an image. So he should
right.
get rid of all those sidebars and replace them with text boxes. But say you've got your pages and you want to display one kind of content on your pages and then another kind of content in the sidebars on your posts. I would probably use a different I would use a different sidebar on my page template than I would on my single template
Well,
because it's so
considering
easy.
I'm trying to, I try to cut down on plugins whenever possible, because I suspect that is probably it hinders the speed,
Well,
the
both of the
loading of the
plugins
site.
that I'm referring to are excellent plugins, and they're as fast as you need to be. You have to just find your um, you have to find your balance, right?
Right.
Between having a plugin or not, having a whole bunch of extra custom templates or not. I would I would try to strive for not having a custom template for every time you want something different. I would try to find a different solution than that. I don't have any trouble using display widgets or dynamic widgets because maintaining templates is going to be more of a hassle than
Right.
setting up options on a plugin. So